I'm ready to play U.S. Open. So, and I think it kind of sucks too. Y'all are throwing this black cloud over the U.S. Open, and I mean it's one of my favorite events, and I don't know why you guys keep doing that, but the more legs you give it, the more you keep talking about it.
Well, then sorry to ask another question about it, but not sorry enough not to do that. In some ways, it seems like they're offering something that would appeal to you. You're a guy who, really gets up for the majors, really loves the majors. At the moment, it seems like it would be an opportunity to play less in between the majors and still play the majors. Is that attractive to you, or do you prefer your current setup?
I mean, I can come out here and play as little weeks as I want. I choose my own schedule regardless what tour I play. I'll come out here. I haven't played. I've played, match play, Augusta, PGA, and this one, so I can play as little as I want.
So I guess Brooks Koepka thinks the dark cloud over the U.S. Open would not be similar to the dark cloud he's putting over the Travelers Championship now that he has jumped ship to Live Golf, right, John?
Yeah, I guess so, man.
Yeah, well, honestly, I think Brooks Koepka. Yeah, there's the narrative that Pat Reed was the villain of golf. Now, obviously, he's with Live now as well. There was the whole Brooks Bryson thing. People shit on Bryson. I think Brooks Koepka might be the biggest phony out of anybody on the or who was on the PGA Tour, as someone who literally 7 days ago said, "Yeah, no, I'm all in on the PGA Tour. I believe in the product here. I want to play against the best players in the world. I want to compete at the highest level, and I believe in this. I'm going to focus on the U.S. Open." And then now, total turncoat turns over for about probably $150 million to go over to Greg Norman's tour, along with his best friend Bryson DeChambeau. They're going to be living it up, playing the Portland Pumpkin Patch Open next week, whatever the fuck you want to call it at this point. But God, what's happened in the world of golf, I gotta say, it's kind of nice and relieving that, I don't love this tour. We know your sentiment about it. We know mine pretty well at this point, but I gotta say, it's like for the longest time, golf when it wasn't Tiger or it wasn't a major was never like big on TV. This is the first time that golf is like A block news every single day, and it's kind of nice. I never thought I'd say that about the Live Tour, and we talked about this 2 weeks ago, how I enjoyed watching the Live broadcast because it was just simply better than the PGA's. Despite some really awful commentary by people who don't actually know much about commentating in golf. Granted, some guys were analysts for golf.com and NBC, but it wasn't the same. And I enjoyed seeing a lot of shots. I was really pissed off this week that I had to switch back between Peacock and USA and NBC and CBS just to watch the U.S. Open. And on the last day, I literally watched 3 players instead of watching a whole slew of guys who were involved in the field and had a chance. And you could have really built a story around the U.S. Open, and instead you followed us with Scotty Scheffler the whole day, and I barely really watched Matt Fitzpatrick and Zalatoris until the final 4 holes. But you know what? At the end of the day, the LA Live Golf has given me a reason to expect the PGA Tour to do better, and for that reason, I'm semi-thankful for it. Welcome on in, folks, to the Get in the Hole podcast. I'm Stephen McAvoy. That's John Mavalia. We're here with you. It's a wild week in golf. We have more to talk about. Of course, more Live Golf action to get into, more PGA stuff. In about a half hour, we're going to talk all things about the Travelers Championship, the really wacky history of this golf course, how crazy it is for a Pete Dye design to only be like 6,800 yards. Me and John can go tear it up if we really wanted to. If you're here with us in the underground, welcome on in to Get in the Hole. Steve and John here, as always, on a Tuesday. A little different from our Monday showing if you're listening here on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whenever it is. Who knows? Maybe it's 4 weeks from now. You're joining us here from the underground, powered by the good friends over at Tomahawk Shades, the best premium small batch eyewear brand in the industry, keeping you styling and profiling from the first tee to the 18th green. Actually got me these brand new sunglasses. Not the glasses. Eyeglasses. Literally brand new today out of the box. Courtesy of Tomahawk Shades. So pretty cool to be repping them today. Thank you, of course, for joining us wherever you may be and however you are listening. Welcome in to the show. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Get in the Hole Pod, at Facebook.com/Get in the Hole, and find our content all over the underground at Twitter and Instagram at UndergroundPHI, Facebook.com/UndergroundSportsPHI, Twitch.tv/UndergroundSportsPHI, and all over the streaming verse, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, wherever you get your favorite shows. We are there. Finally, of course, follow us on YouTube. Search us at Underground Sports Philadelphia to subscribe and like us on YouTube. Get all the content that you want from us at Get in the Hole, our guys over at OTB Outside the Box, and more. John, once again, it's been crazy. You can follow me and John me at Twitter and Instagram at Steve McAvoy _ and John at I Make Pars on Twitter. So yeah, let's just get into the nitty gritty here. Let's get into the elephant in the room. I mean, what happened this past week at the U.S. Open was incredible. I'm not going to start the show talking more about Live Golf. We'll talk about them in the BeerMoney.
We want more Live Golf.
Don't worry, we're going to get into all of it. We're going to get into Bryson. We're going to get into Pat Reed, Brooks. Now Abraham Answers also jumping ship. Greg Norman is now up to I think like 21 guys in the world top 100 joining his golf league, which is impressive to credit him, but also kind of a shame because the PGA is churning out incredible product like we saw this past week at the U.S. Open. Matt Fitzpatrick takes home the big win, his first PGA Tour victory, his first major victory, and a big win for the kids who are 24 years old with braces. It was a good look for Matty Fitzpatrick. But we got to talk about something really important. The biggest thing that happened this week, aside from Fitzy winning and the narrative around it, Grayson Murray has blocked us on Twitter.
I saw he interacted with us, and I was scrolling through Twitter, and I did a double take. Like I scrolled past and I scrolled back up because I was like, "There's no way this is actually real that this clown interacted with us." Yeah. So the
hold on, I want to get the number exactly right because I want to just clown the shit out of this guy.
And let's be honest, in that moment, he kind of owned us. Like he kind of owned us. Yeah. Oh, and then he went ahead and completely embarrassed himself.
Yeah. I'll give it to him. All right. The 516th ranked player on the PGA Tour. You're worse than Kiradech Affy Barnrat. Go fuck yourself, first of all.
Nothing wrong with Kiradech Affy Barnrat.
No. I have nothing wrong with him. I'm just saying, a guy who can't make a cut, you're worse than him. You also played worse than 3 amateurs in the field this week at the U.S. Open. How does it feel to lose to a 21-year-old who goes to UT Austin? Screw you, Grayson Murray. Anyway, so he talked to us. I put out a tweet early on Thursday. First 4 holes at the U.S. Open. Kevin Na started around 2 under, while he started 4 over. And as most of you probably know, the casual golf fan will not know this, but the beef between Grayson Murray and Kevin Na. Grayson Murray, I think, missed a cut, and he blamed it on Kevin Na for playing incredibly slow. Obviously, Na is now part of Live Golf, and there was a bit of a heated rivalry going into this week now that Na is away. And Grayson Murray's got a cult following, not to get political here, but largely made up of hardcore Republican supporters.
Dude, it's so weird how that happened, bro. Like, it's really strange. Like, it's just started off with like just a golf beef, and then he had like Trump in his bio or Trump in his likes on Twitter or something like that on his profile, and then it completely just attracted a bunch of far right people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get political here at all, and I don't want to call anybody out. Despite my political affiliation, actually leaning a little right. I will say this: the people that I interacted with this past weekend. First of all, one guy chirped the hell out of me, and I had to block him because I was like, I simply can't take this guy. His avatar, he legitimately looked like a thumb. This guy was like 400 pounds.
It's tough, bro. What you got to do with those guys is you gotta just tell them to block you.
Oh, no,
then they won't do it. And if they do it, then you won.
I actually forced the guy into blocking us. I'm going to pull up the conversation right now because it was so funny.
I actually didn't see any of this, so this is my first time.
So many people were getting on us. Oh, you were a clown because Grayson Murray like made the cut and not missed it. Murray was like 1 under par going into Saturday. Kevin Na had missed the cut by literally 1 stroke, so like hop off of me for that one. But it was absolutely hilarious how all of this went down, and I got absolutely clowned for it. And then he proceeded to shoot like 10 over on Friday, and it got even on Saturday, and it got even worse on Sunday. And he finished second to last, only ahead of. And I'm so sad this happened. He finished second to last among those who made the cut, only in front of Stuart Hagstad, who has been a storyline for a few years. He's a 31-year-old financial analyst who chose to be a amateur golfer. Never wanted to go pro. He wanted to make his parents happy and go into finance. And he finished only a stroke better than Stuart Hagstad, which is actually incredible. All right, so there's one guy who I talked to, and it was Nick Holt at Nick Reagan. Very clearly, you could see the and his bio literally says, conservative, self-employed, loves the Tar Heels, Orioles, and Raiders. It's a really sad life for you being an Orioles and Raiders fan. 94 followers, by the way, calling us out for not having a lot of followers. We have more than you. So this guy goes, hey, dude, it's a 72-hole tournament. Maybe you should go on the putt-putt tour if you want quicker results. And this is on Saturday. I come in on Sunday. I go, yeah, you're right. It is a 72-hole tournament. Rather miss the cut at this point than be 17 over with holes to play. And he goes, that's why you have a small podcast and not on tour. Your parents must be proud. Actually, my mother is very proud of me. She gave me a hug today as I came home and said, I'm so proud of you because I closed on an incredible deal today. Go harass someone who deserves it, like that senile man who fell off his bike while at a bus stop. And I said, all right, hold on. We're not getting political here. For those of you who don't know, Joe Biden fell off his bike and got by a lot of people. The man is like 80 years old. Let him be. If anything, it's sad that he's falling off his bike. I said, no need to get political, sir. And he goes, thanks for proving the kind of person you are. Rather go personal than political. And I said, okay, happy Juneteenth. And he goes, sorry, I celebrate Festivus. And I go, why not both? And he goes, I'm good. I wanted to comment, do you hate black people? Like what's wrong with you? So this guy got on us, as well as a myriad of people. But all of this to say, Grayson Murray sucks. He broke his putter. He flung it. My Sunday was amazing watching this guy burn to the flame, shooting 18 over par and finishing second to last at the US Open. So, literally, I put like in the A block here, first segment, I hate Grayson Murray. We are forever his least favorite podcast, and I think we've joined up with most of America in acknowledging that everybody hates Grayson Murray. Let's get into some US Open talk. Let's totally forget about
one last thing about Grayson Murray is that like throughout all of that, he ended up going viral, obviously because of the club throwing, the putter throwing, and the club breaking on Sunday. And I thought that was the best part about it because we kind of caught on early. You know what I mean? And then we got to personally watch him blow up from all the mental, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but something's wrong in that guy's brain. Like something's got to be wrong. He's obviously a little bit insecure about something, about his personal image, about his golf game. I don't know what it is, but I do feel for the guy a little bit because there's no way someone interacts with people that much on Twitter and doesn't have any, let's say, negative mental tendencies.
You know, he also claimed that he re-downloaded Twitter recently, and he was interacting with somebody else who commented it in our thread. It was like, oh, like why don't you have a blue check mark? He goes, well, I deleted Twitter, and so I was like, oh, so you re-downloaded Twitter to chirp at people when you're in the US Open field and we're all just like casual guys. I hate the concept that people will like complain to us and be like oh he's on the PGA Tour and you're not. I go, yeah. And
bro, what the fuck does that mean, dude?
We're fans of golf. Fans chirp people. Like you're gonna defend somebody that the people who
what I would say right back to those people. I bet that same person that Trump 2024 in their bio, I would just say, you're not a politician, but you still vote. You still talk about politics.
And you choose to blur political commentary. I'm a golf fan. I choose to blur golf commentary all over social media because hey, I want to do it as a career. Like, hey, if you want to go ahead and say whatever you want, I'm all for free speech. Go ahead, say whatever you want on Twitter, but don't call somebody else out. Like the hypocrisy that goes on in our society is absolutely ridiculous. Anyways, fuck Grayson Murray, bottom line. So the U.S. Open, right? Country Club, also absolutely incredible. Fitzpatrick beats Zalatoris. Zalatoris misses the fourth playoff by literally like a quarter of an inch. In oh so proper Will Zalatoris fashion, I feel like he's turning into Brooks Koepka, where he becomes like the best player in majors, or like Louis Oosthuizen, where he's always going to be T2. Really ironic. The odds for the Open came out, and he's currently projected to finish second behind only Rory McIlroy, which only seems so appropriate because if you take him right now to finish second, the odds board is probably insane. But if it happens, it very well may happen. So let's get into some questions about the recapping of the U.S. Open. I have five here to go over some really incredible topics, and I want to start with Matt Fitzpatrick and how amazing the story really was. The question here was his win, quote unquote, destiny, and I think destiny is a strong word, but I do think it's actually a word that is pretty valuable in meaning. And I want to start with your take here. Would you call Matt Fitzpatrick's win destiny?
You're right. Destiny carries a lot of weight with it. The short answer is no, and the reason why is because I would say his win was more from the hours and the dedication and the hard work, the practice, on the course, on the range, all that stuff. Because his game was in a place that we haven't seen it in. I mean, let's be honest. We saw him be like consistently string together top 10s, top 20s. Throughout the season. So it's no surprise that he was in contention, but the surprise is that he got his first win on tour, and it was the freaking U.S. Open. So I don't know if it was much destiny, even though he had won the U.S. Amateur and in Boston. He has some ties there, apparently. And his family was there. His brother just turned professional. It was cool in that sense. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if destiny is the word that I'm going to use to describe it, even though it was still a little bit. It was a little bit, kind of jerked your heart a little bit, the heartstrings, just a little bit.
I think it was destiny. Me and Max talked about it last week while you were out. I put a bet on Matt Fitzpatrick. I bet $5 for him to win, plus 3,300. That one cashed beautifully. I had 5 outrights. I had Fitzpatrick, I had Rory, I had Scheffler, Zalatoris, and Shane Lowry. Evidently, 4 of them happened to finish in the top 5, which is amazing. But I'm going to say it was destiny. So, like you said, Matt Fitzpatrick has a connection to the country club. He won the U.S. Amateur in 2013. He's the only golfer to ever win. Sorry, the only non-American to ever win the U.S. Amateur and the U.S. Open. He's also the only person to ever do it at the same golf course. So very impressive on that end. What's destiny about it was when he won the 2013 U.S. Amateur, he stayed with a host family, and he stayed with them, ate meals with them, had a whole thing. His parents came to the country club this year, and Fitzy said, "You know what? I'm not going to stay with my family. I'm not going to stay in a hotel. I'm gonna stay with the same host family that I did in 2013, 9 years ago." And lo and behold, he bought his U.S. Amateur trophy. He was in the same exact bed that he slept in 9 years prior when he won. All 16-year-old brace face Matt Fitzpatrick, now in a retainer, slept in the same bed with the same host family at the same event 9 years later and won the U.S. Open after winning the U.S. Amateur. That seemed like the most storybook line. That was like, for you and I, so the comparison, like Derek Jeter's walk-off RBI in his final game. As New Yorkers, we kind of appreciate that because you couldn't write it up better. And I think how appropriate is it for his first win to be a major championship and to do it at the same place that he won the U.S. Am? I think it's absolute destiny. And I think what makes it even more destiny was the fact that he beat Will Zalatoris, 2 guys who were vying for their first major championship, 2 guys who were going for their first ever PGA Tour win, 2 guys who, for weeks, we've been saying, when is it going to happen? We thought it was going to happen at Memorial, one of them was going to win. We thought at the PGA, one of them was going to win. Like, it kept on building, and it got to a point where something's got to give. And unfortunately for Will Zalatoris, it was his putting that gave out. But Will Zalatoris had an incredible week. He lost with grace. I remember, I think it was Dan Rappaport said, when Fitzpatrick won, he walked over to him and he said, "Hey, if there's anybody I wanted to lose to, it would have been you." And this highlights something that, assuming neither one of them go to Live Golf, we very well might see a Will Zalatoris, Matt Fitzpatrick Ryder Cup matchup. How amazing would that be?
That would actually be pretty interesting.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Like the idea of seeing two young stallions of the game. Now also with the guys who are jumping over to Live, it's going to be like the new horizon of guys in the Ryder Cup. And why not be Will Zalatoris and Matt Fitzpatrick on a Sunday singles matchup? Like that would be, in my opinion, next to like what we could see, assuming Rory McIlroy's form stays in shape for the next 2 years, him versus like Colin in a Ryder Cup singles, like these could be two premier matchups that we see that could be like determining the Ryder Cup here. I think it would be awesome to see Zalatoris versus Fitzpatrick. What do you think?
I like that. That's like some forward thinking right there. That I didn't even foresee that, but I like as soon as you mentioned it, I was like, wow, that would be pretty cool. It might never happen, but if it does, that's kind of like this is like the groundwork what we just saw this weekend for a rivalry that could last for a decade or two.
Absolutely. And I mean, a decade or two, 20 years is a lot. We don't really know where things go from here, but I think
it's all this is hypothetical.
No, yeah, of course. And look, they're only 25 years old. There's plenty to go in their career. But speaking of somebody who has been relevant for the last 10, 15 years, almost, Rory McIlroy once again comes out at the U.S. Open. He is cannot remember the stat, but this is the first time that he's finished top 10 in the first three majors of the year. Finished top 10 at Augusta, at Southern Hills, and now at the Country Club. And he's finally starting to take shape. And I think a lot of this came and it stems from the Live breakaway. He won the RBC Canadian Open. He won earlier this year. He has multiple wins. He's rounding into shape. The swing is there. This is a very forward-thinking question, and I think the next couple questions that we have are really very forward-thinking. But Rory McIlroy's game, I think it might be setting up for a pretty good run at East Lake once again, John. What do you think?
Potentially. I didn't think about that either, so you're dropping a lot of shit on me right now.
Common knowledge, son.
No, it could be.
What's up?
That common knowledge is another hypothetical. I don't know if Rory's game is set for East Lake because he's a very volatile player, but he's also a very streaky player. And we saw before the COVID shutdown that abbreviated season, if it hadn't, he would have been by far and away the best player that season. So when he gets hot, barring any pandemic or anything that shuts down the season, I do foresee him making a run towards the end of the year. I don't know how many wins I see, but I see a lot of top fives, I see a lot of top tens. As far as the FedEx Cup, who knows? I think it's very possible, but it's not a short thing for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really tell you anybody outside of like Sam Burns comes to mind immediately. I think Rory is there. Like last season, right at East Lake, there were a lot of guys rounding into form at the right time. Colin was there, coming fresh off a win at the Open. John Rahm obviously won the U.S. Open, was the best player in the world by far. Like he was ramming guys off leaderboards like it was nothing. Pat Cantlay going into the playoff was absolutely incredible. He finished top 5 at Northern Trust. He won the BMW and then evidently won the FedEx Cup and the Tour Championship. Like a lot of guys are really rounding into form at the right time. And I think now the parity in golf seems almost huge. Like Jordan Spieth isn't totally there yet. He has his moments. Zalatoris is really only good in majors right now. He hasn't really done incredible things outside of that. He's finishing top 20. He's doing what he should be, but he's only really showing out in majors. Matt Fitzpatrick, I guess right now is probably in the best form out of anybody, along with Sam Burns and Rory McIlroy. Colin still is having problems with the flat stick. Obviously, Dustin Johnson jumped ship right at the right time for him. John Rahm's playing again really good, but he hasn't captured that big win outside of his win in Mexico in a short field. And then it's Scotty Scheffler versus the world. Like we're seeing only 3 or 4 guys every week. It's kind of like it's Scheffler, it's kind of like two or three other guys every week who like break into that 2, 3, and 4 spots in terms of who's the best player right now. I really think that if Rory can keep things up, he'll be able to find his way into at least a top 5 spot in the final, and be able to use that aggregate score to his advantage. And if this live golf thing builds up and it gets better and better and better, I think Rory's become the spokesman of the PGA right now, and I think that this will mean that his energy and his desire to beat down live golf. And if live golf has an event during East Lake, watch out, because Rory will be all over and probably firing at pins immediately, and I think that'll be a difference maker. So I think it's going to come down to how live golf grows while his season goes, because I think he's only going to get better with the added pressure and the added desire to just beat down everybody at live golf. Final question here. We're going to look ahead to the Open. We're already 3 majors down. We have 1 more to go. John, think about every year you've watched golf, right? Have we had a better 1-2 punch in terms of venues than going from the first American Country Club to the home of golf? I feel like this might be the best 1-2 punch of majors, movable majors of all time.
Not everyone's chewing.
In short, my answer is absolutely. This is probably the best 1-2 punch ever.
It can't be. It can't be. There has to be at least a couple better. It's up there for sure. But just think about how many times these majors are played at really, really just significant courses that are ranked in the top 10 throughout the world, throughout the specific countries that they're played in. For me, you could pair up I'm sure there was a year where it was something like St. Andrews and Wingfoot, or something like that.
I think the nearest thing might have been Marion and St. Andrews. I'm currently rolling through it.
Also, just if you go from Augusta to anywhere else, that's also.
Yeah, but the PGA recently had would you say Augusta and then Bethpage it is applicable here? I don't really know. It's
I think so.
I think it's the idea that it's the first big time country club in America, and it's literally it's the country club. It's Brookline Country Club. It seems a little douchey how everyone says, "Oh, it's the country club." That's literally what it is, and it's the home of Francis Amet. It's a historic site that's seen so many ups and downs and wild moments. How the PGA Tour took them 39 years to come back here is insane. It should be literally every 5 or 6 year comeback event. And then also it's the home of golf. It's St. Andrews. I think anything that is paired with St. Andrews in a back-to-back major situation is incredible. All time in terms of all 4 majors, I think this is a incredible year for the sport. But looking ahead to the Open in general, do you see anybody who carrying over their performance from the U.S. Open, or just from the whole 3 quarters of the season now? There's only 10 events remaining. The Open's literally smack dab in the middle of it as the 4th event in the next 10. Do you think there's anybody who stands out as an early favorite to you to go to the Open and dominate on those links courses?
You said Rory is the favorite right now, with Zalatoris being a close second, right?
Yes.
I
can give you the.
I like Morikawa. I would like Morikawa to repeat, to be honest. But I do think the books have that pretty spot on, to be quite honest with you. That's the 1 and 2 for now.
So the odds right now, actually, they've moved a little bit, ever so slightly. What the current odds sit at as of right now, Rory's plus 900, Rahm is plus 1200 with Scheffler, and Zalatoris is plus 1300 with Thomas, Spieth, Morikawa, Fitzpatrick, Smith, Lowry, and DJ rounding out the top 10.
Okay. Morikawa, Scheffler, Spieth, and Thomas are all names that also stand out to me.
It's crazy how right now you can get Cantlay and Schauffele at 29 to 1. You can get you can get Sam Burns at 41 to 1. Some wild numbers right now.
That's pretty good.
So, just something to think about and ponder as we dig deeper into the PGA Tour season, and something that's that will in fact be a recurring question. Also, of course, Tiger Woods will be in the Open. So who isn't excited to go to St. Andrews and watch the greatest golfer of all time try and take on St. Andrews after probably it's going to be about a month and a half break. He hasn't played since obviously the third round of the PGA. So with that being said, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to break down some LIV golf news, everything you need to know about what happened with LIV, the new PGA Super League that they're starting up, the Champions League of Golf, whatever the hell that's going to be. And, of course, TPC River Highlands in Cromwell, Connecticut, a very special golf course in my heart as a Connecticut resident for the last 4 years. We'll get into all of that and more. You're listening and watching Get in the Hole in the Underground. Welcome back in, ladies and gents. It's the Get in the Hole podcast brought to you by Tomahawk Shade. Stephen McAvoy, Tom Avelia here in the Underground. John, so LIV Golf, let's get right into it. So Bryson's gone. Pat Reed's gone. Abe Anser's gone. Brooks Koepka's gone. What do we make of what has now turned into even more players jumping ship to Greg Norman's tour?
Greg Norman's tour, also the premier golf tour in the world.
No, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
The PGL is different than LIV.
No, I'm saying premier as in like top one.
Oh, you're saying it's better than the PGA Tour?
Yeah, so it goes LIV, then the match, and then like whatever content we made that one time with KB, and then the PGA Tour. That's like 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the ranking system right there.
What?
Did I stutter?
No, but like PGA Tour is by far better than LIV. But we're gonna
no. I disagree. I disagree. What was your original question, anyways?
What do we make of everyone jumping ship right now?
Oh yeah. It's great. It's good for the sport. Most golf fans that I'm talking to, and I work at a golf course, so I'm obviously around this, and it's a topic of conversation that comes up every once in a while. Most of them are really, really happy about this, and I think that's the only way to look at this. And I understand that the PGA Tour is trying to demonize all these players that are jumping ship and making them look bad, and trying to push their own agenda. And for the people who it's fooling, I feel bad for you guys. I wouldn't listen to anything the PGA Tour puts out, any of their statements, any from their PR guys. I wouldn't even pay it any mind. This is good for the sport. It's good for the players. It's good for up and coming players. I don't know how it could be spun in a negative light. Really, the PGA Tour, they don't own the sport of golf. They shouldn't be acting like it. And they've gotten away with their corrupt ways for way too many years. And finally they've met their match, and it's clear that they've met their match, because all of these quality players are leaving. And this is just the start of it. And if they don't change their PGA Tours, they don't change their policies that they have right now, or I don't know if they're called policies, but whatever rules and restrictions that they have, bans that they have, if they don't change them soon, they're gonna be in trouble.
You know, I'm changing my stance a little bit on LIV Golf. I said this weeks ago, and I was like, oh, I'm all against it. I'm fully against it.
Mm-hmm.
But like a car accident, you have to like watch it. So I did sit down on that first Thursday when it played at Centennial, and I watched the entire day on Thursday, and it was great. I enjoyed the broadcast. It was great seeing every shot. And again, this goes back to what I said about a half hour ago. I was annoyed that I couldn't watch every shot at the U.S. Open on Sunday. Like, they literally followed Zalatoris and Fitzpatrick, and they didn't pay any mind to Rory McIlroy or to guys who were fighting for exemptions or fighting for top 10 spots. Rory McIlroy was climbing up the board. Xander Schauffele was having a wild day on Sunday. So I think the difference of LIV Golf versus the PGA, the product is better, and that's me coming from a production standpoint. I think the production value is simply better. However, the PGA they followed that main group, which like is a problem, and they could very well tell a good story. Like the broadcast isn't just about watching every shot, which is kind of what Live Golf does. Like every shot, as Pat Mayo said it was a storyless shot. Like you're just gonna watch some random guy who I can't even name somebody who's like irrelevant on this tour. Chase Koepka, right? You can watch Chase Koepka take every shot you want, but there isn't a story to it. The PGA lacks building a story, and you could build a story through a broadcast. I mean, like you try and do it. You can basically view it in any highlight that you watch. Every highlight, you're always told what's the story here, and it could be a no hitter in baseball, and you tell the story of how many strikeouts did he have, or key plays that got him there. You could tell the story of a PGA Tour event on Sunday by watching the main group, but also showing you shots from main players who had the best shot of the day. Scotty Scheffler had an incredible shot on day 3, or it was on Sunday, and no one paid any mind to it. You saw it for about 30 seconds on the highlight clip, and that was it. Or you saw it on the playing through. And maybe it helps that the Live Golf doesn't have any sponsors or anything, which makes it easier for you to just show every single shot that you want, because you don't have the crux of having to play other people's ads. But it's still better than what Live Golf is putting out, because the talent's better, and you can actually tell something that people are playing with heart at this point. And really everyone who's at Live Golf is doing it for money. And I think the morality of it is one thing, but at the same time, it's still the fact of the matter that PGA Tour players are playing for more than just money. They're playing for pride. They're playing for a tour, as Rory McAvoy put it, that they're laying the groundwork for people to come after them, but also they're playing for the legacy of those who came before them: Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Ben Hogan, Walter Hagen, so on, Sam Snead. It works that the PGA Tour has this history behind it, and I think that's why guys who are staying. It's why Justin Thomas is here. It's why Rory's here, and then you have guys who simply are in it for the money. Guys like those past their prime, Lee Westwood, Ian Poulter, and the guys who you kind of expected it to happen. Bryson DeChambeau, a little quirky, wants the money, wants the longevity. Pat Reed, no one likes him anyways on the PGA Tour. Brooks Koepka is like either loved or hated. Now it was very much. I thought it was very much apparent that he was going to go earlier, and it never happened. But now here we are, and Colin Morikawa said it today when there was rumors about him jumping ship. He goes, "No, it's totally false. I would never want to go somewhere that is only in it for the money. I want to be able to play somewhere against the best players in the world and be able to play my absolute best." So that's what I have to say about Live Golf. However, I am changing my stance and saying that I'm not totally against it. I do think it is good for the sport, and the fact that it's going to force the PGA to adapt. However, the PGA has adapted, but maybe not in like the best of ways. As of today, there's the new PGA, as Jay Monahan said it. It's quote unquote the new PGA Tour. They're now trying to rival Live Golf. They're going to change the schedule back. Nice onion ring. They're going to change the schedule back to a year calendar race. They're not going to have the wraparound with all those October events. It's going to start in 2023. They're going to start in January. They're going to end in September. They're going to do exactly what they've done for years prior to COVID. But they're going to introduce a new elite, almost like a Champions League and soccer series, where it's an 8 events, insane purses for the top 50 players on the PGA Tour. When I saw it this morning, I was like, what the hell is this? I thought it was an awful idea. I still think it's not a great idea because it's going to take away from other events that they're going to have, because it's going to be spread out throughout the year and not only happen in the fall. It's going to be spread out throughout the PGA Tour calendar. At this point, just make Riviera a $20 million pot, or make the Waste Management a $20 million pot. Like, make events that are already like sub majors even bigger. And obviously you can add on the pots to these major events like the US Open. The fact that we're going to have events that are going to be a higher purse than the US Open or than Augusta is like insane to me, and it's kind of dumb because the majors are a major for a reason. But what do you make of this new PGA Tour style that Jay Monahan is trying to introduce starting in 2023? This eight event super league for those top 50 players.
I'm not going to lie to you and sit here and act like I know about anything that you just said. That was my first time hearing any of that. When did that come out?
About 9 a.m. this morning.
No, that must be why. I don't know what to make of it. What to make of it? So he's trying to change things up. I don't know. It seems. I don't want to say that desperate is not the right word, but it's along those lines. I don't know if this is better or worse for the fans, because what the not the goal of the LIV, but for as a fan, what I would want would be for the LIV to improve the sport of golf, which we've talked about and I've talked about and alluded to many times on this very episode. And by doing that, or they could do that by having the PGA Tour realize, oh, now we got to kind of buckle down because we have a legitimate tour that has more money than us, and we have to improve our product and get it up to par with theirs. The question is, I don't know if everything you just said does improve the product or not. I'm not entirely sure yet, but it is on the right. It is on the right track. It's just tough to see the PGA Tour be so dismissive of the other tour, and then try and kind of it's not backtracking, but they're basically changing their sport, that they're saying, oh, look, we're traditional, we're this, we're that. This is why we're better, and we're not going to bow down to any other tour. But then they go ahead and change it. You're muted.
I am muted. You're right. I'll explain a little more to you to kind of give you an idea. So again, they're going to change back to a traditional January to September calendar in 2023. 8 events, $20 million purses apiece. Top 50 players in the previous year's FedEx Cup standings will be invited to play on it. It's basically the Champions League in European soccer. Top teams from all of Europe play in this tournament throughout the season. That takes place, that coincides with these events. The problem that I have with it, like I said, you have to come up with 8 weeks in a PGA Tour calendar of like 40 something to put these events. I was looking at a list of the calendar, and I can only realistically think of like 4 events that you could put not a live golf event, a Super League event in place with an alternate event around it. So for everyone who isn't in the top 50, they're going to be playing in an alternate event field where you're fighting basically for priority in keeping your tour card, or you're a Corn Ferry player and it's going to qualify as an event to get your tour card. There's only so many events that I think kind of match up here. The John Deere is one that we always talk about. It's like the meme event. Guys don't play the John Deere. They simply play. They go to Europe. The Barbasol, again, the week prior to the Open, no one plays that event. So yeah, you can maybe squeeze one in, but then who's going to really want to play it because of the Open the following week? There's like the 3M Open. Players are going to want it. Like the problem is all of these lower scale events happen towards either in the fall or in the back end of the year. The 3M, the Rocket Mortgage, the Wyndham, which even then the Wyndham is still a big event because it's the one right before the playoffs, and players want to play in it because it's Central Country Club. It's a big deal. Earlier on in the year, the only events that I could think of, the Byron Nelson on the Bunny Farm, you could probably get away with that. The Mexico, which is just 2 weeks prior to that, you maybe get rid of the Zurich Classic. The Punta Cana Championship you could play instead of the Del Match play. Like these are some events that you could play, but they're so close to each other in relation that our players going to really want to vie for this. And a lot of guys who are already on the PGA Tour kind of enjoy making their own schedule. Why would you want to have to play these 8 events because they're the highest purse events? Like if you want to take a week off for a certain event, like do it. What are they going to do? They're going to totally rework the entire PGA schedule to try and make these 8 events like the thing that week. Because what's going to happen when you have, let's just say, the Puerto Rico Open, right? It's squeezed in between the Arnold Palmer and the Players. So guys are going to play 3 straight weeks. They're going to play the Arnold Palmer because it's Arnie's event. They're going to want to play it. They're going to play a $20 million purse event, and then they're going to go to the Players, then the Valspar. Like, guys don't want to play four straight weeks. There's a reason why John Rahm plays every third week, because first of all, he wants to see his family. First of all, and second of all, he wants to prep for big events. This is simply what happens every single year, and it's why top players are still always top of the FedEx Cup standings, despite playing only a third of the events. It's because they're already good enough to play in the big moments, and they know that they can get the most points in those big events. So why not just make like the Genesis or the Waste Management or even the Players just up the pot? That's literally all it is. I think it's bad for the PGA because now they're trying to conform to Live Golf and trying to be like, oh no, don't play for them, but play for the $20 million pot. But then also, like, what good is it for those who aren't even in the top 50? If you aren't good enough to make it there every single year, like, you're basically handicapping it. Make it available to everybody, which is why I'm saying make the Riviera these huge pots, because you're going to have a 130-man field anyways. Let everyone have a shot at the big prize money. I think that's the big thing, on top of the fact that the majors need to be the majors. You cannot have higher purses for ordinary events than you do for the majors. They have to be the biggest part of the year, and you cannot have events outside of those that are bigger money, bigger payout, bigger FedEx Cup points. You just can't have it. It seems crazy to me to have an event be more valuable than the Masters.
Mm-hmm. I agree with a lot of what you said. None of it has to do with my biggest takeaway, though, which is that the PGA Tour is obviously scared because they got together, their board, everyone. This must have happened. I don't want to say fast, but over the course of a couple of weeks or since they found out that they were losing some substantial players. Even if they're not worried about like a Pat Reed or something like that, like 10 Pat Reeds adds up to, basically a large portion of the players in the top 50. You know what I'm saying? So they can't afford to lose players like that at the rate that they're losing them. So they're clearly a little scared, and they got together, and the most important people who run the PGA Tour, and they came up with this to try as not a last ditch effort, but something. And it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't seem like it's very well thought out. And obviously it's nothing like crazy. It's not official yet. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, it's official.
Oh, it is official. Okay.
Yeah, this is happening. Like, first of all, the biggest thing here is, and I never thought I'd ever see this happen, Jay Monahan held a players-only meeting. First of all, there's only players. There's no one running the players. It's just the PGA Tour and its players. What you're gonna have a caddies only meeting? Like, no. So first of all, the vernacular there is just weird. But like, he had a meeting at 7:15 in the morning. Like, this guy was probably up all night thinking about, holy crap, what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's the thing that's a little eye-opening for me, and that's my biggest takeaway about this whole thing. And like you and I both just alluded to, like you said, they're conforming to the LIV way of things, while like their actions are conforming to the LIV way of things, but their words and the statements that they're putting out are denouncing them, and it's just two separate messages, and that's just not a good look, and it's not a good thing, and it shows, and it puts them in a really, really bad spot, an even worse spot than they are already in.
Not to mention, I think Jay Monahan's kind of shot himself in the foot, because when this whole thing happened, he was like, "Oh yeah, we're partnering with the DP World Tour. We're going to denounce everyone who goes to Live Golf, and they're not going to play in the majors, and they can't play in the Ryder Cup, but they can't play in the President's Cup." And all of a sudden, Live Golf starts. The USGA says, "Nah, screw you. They could play." Augusta very well might say, yeah, they could play. The Open might say, oh, they can play. And now the DP World Tour, as of this week, said they could play in European Tour events, no problem. The PGA Tour.
I think that's a big reason why. That's a big reason why. That's like an important thing to mention, Steve. Like you just did. Like the European, being able to play on the European Tour is huge. Play on the Live Tour is that's big. It's big time. Right, especially for a guy. I know Colin Morikawa just tweeted out today that he's not, like, I know a lot of guys have tweeted like, oh, I'm not going, and my allegiance with the PGA Tour, and then like 2 weeks later, flip flops. The tweet that Colin sent out, it didn't seem anything like that. He seemed pretty
adamant.
Set. He seemed pretty set, pretty adamant about staying with the PGA Tour. But for a guy like him who would tear up the European Tour, it would make so much sense to go make way more than you could ever make on the PGA Tour on the LIV Golf League, and then go ahead and play in the European Tour events and win the Tour Championship for the European Tour and play in all those events, because he just freaking did that, and he didn't even have to play in that many events. So it makes sense for some of those guys that they're able to establish a legacy in Europe and with LIV now.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you there?
Like, I think this is really kind of showing that I'm right here. So the PGA Tour is really kind of just shaking in their boots, and I think they're very nervous at what's to come. And I think it's what's to come in the next 2 months will certainly be interesting. It'll be fascinating to see how the Open takes this, if they choose to allow live players to take part. Of course, there's a lot of European players that are very adamant on playing at St. Andrews. So we'll see what happens. That's it for our live talk. We're going to take another break. When we come back, the Travelers Championship, Cromwell, Connecticut. We had time to get into some court confidential talk all about the Travelers Championship at TPC River Highlands. Don't go anywhere. We are back here on the Getting the Whole podcast. Here, as always, breaking down the Travelers Championship in Cromwell, Connecticut. In about a half hour, we're going to get into all things on BeerMoney. Can't wait for that. It'll be a really exciting little setup. Had two back-to-back really good weeks at the Memorial and at the U.S. Open, so John, very excited for that one. But to start off our breakdown of what to expect at the Travelers Championship, I want to talk about the strangeness of Cromwell, Connecticut. So I went to Quinnipiac, a small liberal arts college up in Handon, about a half hour from Cromwell. I did attend one Travelers Championship in my time. I played 9 holes there with some friends who had some connections, so I have a little experience there. And the Travelers is it's a fascinating place. I was looking at possible prop bets to talk about, and unfortunately nothing has really caught my eye. But this is a track and a circuit and a golf course that
these wings right now, dog.
Yeah, bro, you are going to town on those right now.
Yeah, dude.
This golf course is fascinating for so many different reasons. First of all, anybody can win on this golf course. It's only 6,800 yards. It's basically the style of a Muni in terms of length. Incredibly small greens, relatively narrow fairways. It literally runs through a residential area, so it's like you're playing like out in the park. Past winners at this golf course, and this goes to show you the weirdness. Harris English won here. Dustin Johnson, Ches Reavie, Bubba Watson for a third time won here in 2018. Spieth won, Russell Knox, Kevin Streelman, Ken Duke, Mark Leishman. A very rather odd assortment of people that have won at this golf course, from the elite of the elite to Russell Knox on any given week. Guys who came in second: Kramer Hickok, Kevin Streelman, Keegan Bradley, Zach Sucher, Bo Hostler, Paul Casey, Daniel Berger, Jerry Kelly. It's such a odd list of people that have played here. And then also, not to mention this strange history of the course. I was looking at it again, figuring out things. The amount of records that have been held or played at the Travelers is kind of scary. The first player in PGA Tour history to record 2 hole-in-ones in the same round was in 1955 by Bill Wheaton. This golf course is also the first victory spot for Arnold Palmer when he won the Insurance City Open in 1956. Some other crazy events that happen here. Lee Trevino beat Lee Elder in what would have been his first ever Masters qualification for Lee Elder. Of course, the first black man to play at Augusta National. Billy Casper is the only person to ever win 4 events in Hartford. This was him in 1973. You had situations like 91 players making the 36 hole cut, which is to this day a PGA Tour record. That happened in 1981. At the time in 82, Tim Norris had the scoring aggregate, which was 25 under par, which of course has been broken multiple times, but that was a record that's stood for almost 20 years. Other like wild things. Phil Mickelson, the first player to ever defend his title successfully. That happened in 2002. Pat Cantlay is an amateur from UCLA. Course record 10 under 60, which is the lowest round ever shot by an amateur on the PGA Tour. That still holds to this day. That was in 2011. Jim Furyk, of course, has the only 58 in PGA Tour history. Shot 12 under 58 in 2016. And, of course, last year in 2021, Harris English beat Kramer Hickok in an 8-hole playoff, which is the longest sudden death playoff in PGA Tour history. Like the Travelers Championship has so much history to it, and it's kind of like strange because you would think like a major site would have more, or some wacky ass like major event would have more history than the lowly Cromwell, Connecticut Travelers Championship, and yet here we are. That's just how wild Cromwell is. John, we got a special guest joining us now, coming on in.
Oh, who the fuck is our special guest?
Oh well, who else could possibly be the special guest but our very own Kyle Bennett here, coming on in to chat about some golf stuff. So KB, we talked about Grayson Murray. We're gonna show these display names.
That scrub. That scrub.
Love that guy.
As Stephen A. Smith once said, he's a bona fide scrub.
I never thought I'd be able to compare Kwame Brown to Grayson Murray, but I guess
he can't play. He can't play.
Can't play.
I mean, to give him credit, he did make the cut at a very challenging.
But as we tweeted, and I'm sure you guys brought this up, it's not about how you start; it's how you finish.
Hey, they always say size doesn't matter. It's about the motion in the ocean. Clearly, his motion in the ocean was not very good on the weekend.
Did he have any balls that went in the water? Because then the motion of the ocean might have been real well.
I'm pretty sure there's only like one watered hole at the country club on the 9th hole, which is like very hard to hit in the water unless you really shake it.
There's actually 18 when Grayson Murray's playing because all of his tears.
What a joke!
And all of the perspiration coming from his forehead when he's breaking his clubs.
We were joking about like how like his like cult following like started solely because he had like Trump 2024 in his bio, and how like all of a sudden everyone just like, oh,
he's such a weird. He's 28 years old. What the fuck does Grayson Murray know about politics? Not a goddamn thing. What a certified bozo. I love that this happened for this podcast, to be honest. Like, this is the thing that you and I were talking about when I was in beautiful Long Island this past weekend. You need one of those things that just jumpstarts you a little bit. It gives you a little energy boost. This was one of those moments that I'll remember about this company till the day I die, because this bozo took the time to reactivate his Twitter account to try to come at people and be like, how'd that work out for you, pal? Like everybody was a singular person. And you reap what you sow, brother. You reap what you sow. And you should have waited. He reactivating his Twitter jinxed him. He jinxed himself. And you love to see that shit, and I love that Grayson Murray is now an enemy of getting the hole.
I mean, like not for nothing though. Like no one likes him to begin with, so it's like it tacks on to the hatred. Like it's no surprise that this show got into a beef with them. I
loved it. I wanted it hooked to my veins and injected every single day and twice on Sunday.
Like, there's zero shock here. Like, Monday Q Info was like, oh, just landed my plane. How's Grayson shooting? Like, everyone knows that he sucks.
Oh,
and everyone doesn't.
Awesome.
And no one likes him, not even for his political stance, because he's just a bad person. He's just a guy. He's a guy who you hate. And you know what? I said it months ago. Matt Fitzpatrick has a punchable face. I now love Matt Fitzpatrick. and
There
I
we go.
fucking hate Grayson Murray.
Look at
I
that.
still-
That's what we call character development, Stephen McAvoy. That's
I-
called character development.
I still don't like Matt Fitzpatrick. So
His face is
that's not
still
gonna
so
change.
punchable, and his voice is annoying.
There's nothing wrong with his face. I'm fine with his face. He's
You know what it is? You're 26 years old, and you're still wearing your retainer. Come on, son.
Hey, he's just a big Chip Skylark advocate. His shiny teeth in
He
him.
made $9 million. Go buy some Invisalign.
Go buy
Damn
some
it.
Invisalign.
He's British, right?
He is.
Yeah,
He's very
British.
British.
What kind of question is that, KB?
Well,
That
you
guy's
know.
the most British person you could ever possibly
Have you
imagine.
ever met Paul Casey?
So he's
No,
predisposed to bad
Paul Casey
teeth.
could be confused for American. Easily.
I gotta give Matt Fitzpatrick credit for that because he's predisposed to bad teeth. You ever
That
seen
is
the
true.
fair? Speaking of Chip Skylark, the complete opposite is that dude who is like everything reminded him of the Hunt. That would be Matthew Fitzpatrick if he didn't wear his retainer.
It reminds me of the Hunt.
It reminds me of the Hunt.
Fairly Odd Parents. Did you know Chip Skylark was played by Chris Kirkpatrick of NSYNC?
Yes.
Like the greatest crossover of all time. And I'm pretty sure like Joey Fatone also voiced a character on
Probably.
the Fairly Odd Parents. Oh no, no, Joey Fatone was the lead of the guys in SpongeBob, Boys Who Cry.
Yes.
That was Joey Fatone and like
Wow.
3 other guys. Yeah, that's right. Nickelodeon was killing it with NSYNC, although they never had JT.
Yeah.
Kind of a shame though.
He was a Disney guy though.
Yeah, but Disney also had like Bowling for Soup for like everything. Like Bowling for Soup they did like all the cartoon like intros. They were on Phineas and Ferb. They were like
That's because Bowling for Soup's like big break was on Radio Disney with 1985.
and High School Never Ends.
Yeah.
Classics.
It's Radio Disney blew them up.
KB, we're an hour into the show and we still haven't talked anything about this golf course. So you want to help us out?
Sure.
Even though you probably know nothing. Do you know what the event's called this week?
I have no idea. The Travelers, because it's the name of the room.
Yes, sir. The Travelers Championship at TPC River Highlands. One of my favorite golf courses, obviously. Like I said, I've played here before. I've covered the event back in college. It's an absolutely incredible place. Some weird-ass things happen. 8-hole playoff last year was the longest of all time. The lowest score in PGA history of 58 from Jim Furyk when he was like 80 years old and deceased. That happened on this golf course. So, John, let's break it down. TPC River Highlands, let's talk about it. 6,800 yards, par 70 golf course. Very small, very narrow, Pete Dye design, and they have greens like Pebble Beach. It's kind of crazy, though. This golf course has I follow Data Golf a lot. Shout out to those guys. Not a sponsor. They have like comparisons for every course. This golf course compares to Pebble Beach, Riviera, and Bay Hill, which is like really weird for a golf course that like any player can play well on it because you can hit it really far. You cannot hit it far. You can perform well here. John and KB, hop on in. What do we need to know about TPC River Highlands in Cromwell, Connecticut? Anything.
It's in Connecticut. The Travelers Championship is being held there this weekend, from June 23rd to the 26th. I'm gonna expect some low scores. That's all I got for you, brother. I'm pretty sure the course is like not that like penalizing or anything like that. Like you could miss pretty like much like anywhere that's in the rough and you could be all right. Yeah, you're gonna see a lot of guys cutting some corners here a little bit. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of greens in reg this weekend. Let's just say that.
Wow.
Well played.
What analysis, John Valia? What incredible analysis.
Bro,
So, so this golf course is honestly it's pretty cut and dry, I would say. 5 keys to winning here this week. John, what's
why didn't you just say this shit, bro?
Because I can't sit here and talk for an hour and a half. I gotta have the analysts
but
come in.
that's actually exactly what you already do. This fucking guy,
Get the
man.
fuck out of my broadcast booth, bastard.
Bring John back. I miss
No!
John. I miss John.
No, he's in a timeout. He's in a timeout. Keys to victory at the Travelers Championship. John, what's the most important stat this week?
Oh, I don't know, Steve. What is it? I don't know, man.
It's stroke gain, ball striking. I'm kidding. It's stroke gain approach.
Yeah,
Stroke gain approach, stroke gain, ball striking, stroke gain putting. It'll be a putting contest. Get the hot putter. You'll be able to win this week. Scores will be somewhere in that 15 to 20 under par range. Only 2 par 5s on the golf course, so par 4 scoring is prominent. Par 3s are all relatively short. One of them is even steeper than what we saw at the Country Club, where it was that I think it was the 11th hole. Par 3, 30 feet downhill. This one's 40 feet downhill. It's ridiculous. So guys are going to be hitting lob wedges into the green. Fun sight for some hole-in-one opportunities. So we'll see
For the brand.
For the brand. So those will really be the keys to winning here at the Travelers. Enough about some course stuff. Let's get into guys who are in the field this week. Let's scout the field. Who are guys who are performing well coming into this week and should thrive at the Travelers? John, is there anybody who tickles your fancy this week before we get into some beer money on the other side?
I haven't looked at the field yet, to be quite honest with you, so I don't know.
Do you have any names that you're even going to bet on?
No, I haven't bet on any sporting event in 3 weeks.
Good for you.
It's been a hot second. I do. There's a couple of people I do like, but they're all in my picks, and I don't want to say any names.
Okay, so
you've been stealing my picks since the dawn of time, the dawn of our reign on the show, and I don't think you deserve any free wins from me. To be quite honest with you.
So how about I highlight 3 guys who are in the field this week who I think will have a really good impact. Aaron Wise played really well at the U.S. Open. He's coming in some pretty hot form. He comes in at also really good odds this week. He hits it far. He hits it straight. He's been really good with the putter lately. I like Aaron Wise this week. He's a good play. Ricky Fowler's back in the field. Ricky Fowler had a really sad Thursday at the U.S. Open. He was the second alternate. He came all the way to the first alternate thanks to a withdrawal from I forget who it was, but came so close to the afternoon wave. There was almost a withdrawal from Jordan Spieth, who was battling a ridiculous stomach bug, and Ricky Fowler missed out on playing at the U.S. Open, so he was at the range basically the whole week in Boston. But he's back this week in Cromwell, Connecticut, and should perform pretty admirably. He's been practicing a lot and getting ready for this week. And another guy who I'm really excited for, and he will in fact be in the picks, spoiler alert, Keegan Bradley. He's the only person in the field who's from New England, and he said it. He loves playing in his home state of Connecticut. He went to St. John's, pretty close to you and me, John. This guy loves the Northeast, and he always plays well in the Northeast. He said, I hope to God there are more events in Boston, like at the Country Club. He finished top 10. He played incredible. I expect a really big week out of Keegan Bradley, who this is one of his home courses. When he played at St. John's, he used to come here every single year for the Big East tournament. This is a place that I think he'll thrive in. If only we had Ben Piro on, who I believe he's made a couple of trips here to play when he did play at Xavier. So we'll see Keegan Bradley this week. Very excited for him.
I have vibe check picks just looking at the field from their headshots.
Hank Labiota.
Just from their headshots. Number 1.
I'm interested.
Jonathan Vegas. His polo has the MLB logo on it.
Do you
vibe check?
So,
there's a number of players, a
Cameron Young,
select few.
That's hilarious to me.
Do you know that it used to be a thing when you I don't know when this changed, but it used to be if you were sponsored by the MLB, you would get free access to any ballpark,
That's
any
incredible.
game, any ballpark, whatever you want. It was free.
I need that sponsorship.
Let us know. Major League Baseball. Rob Manfred, you're the worst commissioner ever, but hey, let us know.
I need that big time. Vibe check number 2, because it is we're gonna be a week out from Stranger Things season 4 volume 2. The trailer just dropped today that posted during the NBA finals on TV, and there's a guy in the field who has the last name of one of this season's fixtures, Joshua Creel, who may or may not be related to our Stranger Things listeners out there. Victor Creel, who is played by Robert Englund, a.k.a. Freddy Krueger. So Joshua Creel, you have my vote of confidence going into this weekend. And then ultimate vibe check. Where is he at? I just saw.
Is it Kira Avi Barn Rat? Because yeah.
No, it's not. It's my boy, the man, the myth, the legend, the vibe check of all vibe checks, Rory McIlroy. He is what golf has needed. He's needed this moment with everything going down with Liv and Rory just becoming the people's champ. I love Rory. He's my new favorite golfer right now.
Yeah.
KB, I'm gonna need you to go down the list and find a certain person, and you'll know exactly who it is.
Bill McGirt?
No, do you know Will McGirt? Knows Brittany.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we're actively trying to get him on the show.
Bill McGirt.
So, anyways, there's a certain guy. Last name starts with an R.
Okay.
You'll see him, and you'll be like, "Wow, that look." There's also a guy, two guys down from him, wearing a cowboy hat. Rory Sabatini, who is also
that's a great name too, and great vibes. I'm really digging Rory Sabatini as well. Are we talking about Doc Redman?
Yeah, look at that mustache.
Doc.
What a name!
Yo, dude,
Doc Redman's a good name.
Doc Redman is either like, this is one of those BuzzFeed quizzes. Doc Redman, is he a golfer, a NASCAR pit crew chief, or somebody that Bugs Bunny ran into while looking for Yosemite Sam?
Dude, it's the mustache.
It's incredible.
Look at that thing. That is, oh my god.
Doc Redman.
Gotta be honest. So
He sounds like he was in the Duck Dynasty crew.
So Doc Redman is sponsored by Polo Ralph Lauren, and I love that brand.
That's what my pajamas say.
I'm wearing an RLX Polo right now that I wore to work. You can't really see the logo at all, but he's the inspiration between my long hair and my affinity for RLX. This is a photo of him in a polo with the long hair and the mustache, and I literally aspire to be him.
He looks like if you and John ran into each other really, really fast and merged into one human.
Honestly, kind of.
Because he's got John's like facial hair and like head shape, and then he's got your hair and like vibe check.
Would you? All right. So I've been debating this for a while. Do you think I look like Harry Higgs?
I just saw him. He's always on the vibe checklist for me, by the way, too. Go Birds, Harry Higgs. Where's he at? Not really. Harry Higgs looks like he's got like a more round face of the Jolly Green Giant mascot.
Oh wait, hold on. Now here, hold on. I'm gonna prove to you right now.
Where the fuck did he go?
I'm gonna prove to you right now that we look alike. So, this is me in my sunnies. Hold on, wait. Shout out Tomahawk Shades for these, by the way.
Tomahawk prescription now in stock and available.
That is literally what these are.
It's closer.
Do I need a freaking?
Harry Higgs has more of a square head than you.
Do I need a hat?
You have a larger, like, rounder here, and Harry's chin is like
a
triangle.
He has like a low key butt chin.
Yeah, Conrad Schindler needs to.
What? That's a name?
That's a name. He needs to tan his eyeballs up. He's got the worst like hat
Conrad
sunglasses
Schindler.
tan.
That's an all-time name. Yo.
God almighty, Conrad Schindler.
I'm pretty sure we played this game once where we were like,
Oh yeah,
golfer or NASCAR driver, because like there are guys who you're like, who the hell is that?
We did golfer or politician.
yes.
There's Bo Van Pelt. Oh, also one of the amateurs in the field who also played last week, Michael Torbjornsson. Pretty cool.
Nice.
Awesome guy.
Trey Mullinax, great name.
Trey was a top player a while ago, but he kind of fell off.
Oh, this is so bad. This is so
Austin
bad.
Sutherland?
This is so bad.
What? Who?
I can't say it on the pod.
You got to say it.
I
What?
can't.
gotta say
Well,
it.
I edit the pod, so I can cut this.
No, say it.
There's
Say it.
Conrad Schindler in the field.
This is if this is a joke about what I think it is.
Luke List is in the field too.
Oh, all right.
Could you imagine the broadcast if that was a final day pairing?
Conrad Schindler and Luke.
I hope it is. I hope it is now.
I mean,
Shout out Liam Neeson.
I'm gonna root for that.
That isn't a bad
all
joke,
weekend
but
now.
like I was afraid you were gonna say something that was like actually related.
Oh,
to the
no,
Holocaust,
no,
but
no.
that way, I was
Schindler's
scared.
List.
Well, no shit. Well, all right. So back in college, this is the last thing before we hit another break. So there was there were these kids in college that I went to. So one of the Jewish, like all Jewish fraternities, is AE Pi, like historically Jewish fraternity, and they had all of their intramural teams. They had a intramural baseball team called the Hebrew Hammers. So there's Schindler's List, and then Cole Hammer is in the field as well. Who, by the way, Cole Hammer, if you look at his face, it looks like it's kind of scary.
It's a great name as well.
Yeah, but like
He doesn't have a headshot on the website.
Oh, hold on. Go on PGAtour.com and you'll find Cole Hammer. It looks like he doesn't have a nose.
So he's Voldemort.
I love doing that. Oh, how can we also forget from last week? Chris got her up.
He did what now?
He's in the field this week. Chris got her up. Oh my god. Just some of the names.
Great
man.
Great field of names. Tommy Fleetwood. Where's somebody with the last name Matt? That's what I'm going to do this week. I'm going to pair last names that go together.
Is there a Mac?
That's what I say. I need a Mac.
Well, there's
first
me.
or last name.
Well, you got me.
Yeah, Tommy Fleetwood Mac. It's a Wheel of Fortune beginning and end category.
It's definitely a well.
It'd be Rory. Tommy
no.
Fleetwood, Rory McIlroy.
Well, there is technically a Mac. It's Mackenzie Hughes, Mac Hughes. So it works
Tommy
out.
Fleetwood, Mac Hughes. There we go.
Tommy Fleetwood, Mac Hughes. Yeah,
I'd like to solve the puzzle.
Well, there's also John Huh.
Who the fuck is that?
John Huh. H-U-H, Huh.
That's not a real person.
Patrick Flavin or Flavin. He looks like he's like 13
Flavin.
years old.
That's a good name. Listen, if we don't get to the beer money picks in 10 minutes, I'm just going to text them to you, Steve, and I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
This man's getting tired. All right, fine. One more break on the other side. Beer money time. Don't go anywhere, folks. It's past Johnny Boy's bedtime, which means it's time for Beer Money, brought to you by our friends over at Kenwood Beer, Philadelphia's #1 and favorite light beer. Grab a Kenny, let's strap in and get going. John, top 20 this week at the Travelers Championship, Cromwell, Connecticut, TBC River Highlands. Who you got?
My top 20 this week is Davis Riley. He's slowly becoming one of my favorite players on the PGA Tour. The second best golf tour out there. I believe he's got something like 5 top 20s in a row. I believe prior to this past weekend. I don't know how he did or if you can play it in the U.S. Open. Beats
He
me.
didn't play great, but he was there.
Yeah, beats me to be quite honest with you. But this is a completely different week, completely different course. This man is a top 20 machine. This is a go-to right here.
I'm joining you. Davis Riley, top 20 for me.
Nice.
Top 10. What do you got?
My top 10 is going to be where is he? Brian Harmon. He has an incredible track record at this course. I believe he's one of the few guys we talked about a year ago when we were doing this podcast for the Travelers in 2021. Talk about a number of guys who have success here. Bubba Watson, I believe Paul Casey, and Brian Harmon were among the guys that whose names came up. We used 4 top 10s. I think it's something like 8 top 20s. He plays very, very well at this course, and he's been playing well as of late. So this is a pretty safe bet for a top 10 for me.
My top 10 this week is going to be who else but the guy from the Northeast, Keegan Bradley, plus 230 currently on the local sports books. Again, the guy's from New England. He loves playing out here. He always plays well at the Travelers specifically. I don't think he has a win here, but I think he's come very close a few times. So I think Keegan Bradley is a home run play here, top 10. And also, he had a really good week at the U.S. Open. I think anybody who played well at the U.S. Open is automatically someone who I'm going to look at this week. You might say, oh, like the hangover of it. But the fact that he finished, where is he on this list? I can't even tell you. He finished T7, which honestly, like, started off the week 70, 69, 69, 70. Like, he played only one under par, but at the end of the day, the Country Club was no slouch. Very clearly, the winner being only 6 under, being 5 strokes off the lead is no slouch. So I'm going to roll with Keegan Bradley here for a top 10. Top 5, Johnny.
My top 5 this week. This is I just think I have two really good picks for my top 10 and top 20, but this one is my favorite for the week. Mito Pereira for a top 5. I really like it, bro. I think this is a course that he could really, really attack and just demolish. I think it's going to be easier for him with his accuracy off the tee. He's going to have a ton of pitch shots into the green, and strokes gained approach is going to be important this weekend. He's going to have a significant advantage, putting it right next to the hole, a lot of birdies. I'm expecting a good performance out of Mito, who has kind of emerged this year on tour and proving that he can be one of the best.
You know, I have a bet here that I am like feeling really confident in. And I have him for a top 20, but I'm actually like kind of convinced I want to take him here for top 5. And I'm not quite going to. However, I do feel really confident here. Aaron Wise for a top 5. Again, he hits it straight. He hits it far. He played really well at the U.S. Open. He finished a couple over par, but he was always there in the pack the first few days. He was in the conversation on Sunday, but he fell off just slightly, and he finished a little below what you expected. Obviously, he shot a 75-74 on Saturday and Sunday after making the cut. Shot back-to-back 2 under par scores at 4 under. He was in the lead at one point. So I think Aaron Wise here for top 5 is a pretty valuable play. Also, the odds on him are just absolutely incredible. Let me pull these up just so we have them. I'm also going to get the odds here for Mito. So right now, according to the book, Mito's plus 500, and my boy Aaron Wise is plus 850. So 2 really good odds here for a top 5. Before we get into that winner, John, who's that gimme pick? That big winner that's almost guaranteed to hit.
Oh yeah. So I'm a big fan of top 30s. I'm a big fan of Brendan Steele as well.
Great pick. I love this guy this week.
Yeah. I mean, it's not an easy one, but it's one that I feel very, very confident in. He's been playing very, very well as of late. Putting together a good stretch of golf. Ball striking is key this weekend. That's what he's been doing a lot better. For top 30 it should be somewhere around even money, depending on what sportsbook you use. I really like this play.
I'm looking, and I don't totally see him. I know he was very low down the board somewhere. Let me. Where is this man? Brendan Steele. He fits almost every single metric that I was looking at. I almost took him here for a top 20, but I think Davis Riley was simply too good to pass up on. So I still can't even find him. I don't know where the hell he is. Anyways, my gimme pick this week. He played really well again at the U.S. Open. I'm really riding the U.S. Open train here this week. He's one of the funnier guys on the PGA Tour. He's one of those like few elite jokesters. Joel Damon for a top 20 is a home run. He played so well at the Country Club. He's plus 250 for a top 20. I think, and I actually very well might put down a winning bet slip for him at 100-1 to win this week. He played at the U.S. Open to a tee. Country Club is a very challenging golf course. A lot of twists and turns, very, very narrow. I think Joel Damon is a perfect play here. Also, Matt Damon's from the Connecticut, Mass area. I think it kind of just fits the narrative here. Johnny Damon, Matt Damon, Joel Damon. Give me Joel Damon and the bucket hat for a top 20 at plus 250. Johnny boy, that big winning pick. What do you got?
Joel Damon also made a appearance toward the top of the leaderboard this weekend, which surprised just about every single golf fan, to be quite honest with you. My winner for this week is Joaquin Niemann, so I'm doubling up on the Chileans in the top 5 and the winner. Yeah, I don't know. I was a little torn. I wanted to go with Scotty, and there are a couple others. Sam Burns, Xander, looked like they could be potential winners. But just only going a little slightly outside of the box here. He came top 5 here in 2019. Made the cut all 3 times he has appeared in this event. He's one of those guys who seems like he's due. But on top of that, he's an accurate driver of the golf ball. He's known for his iron play, and he's one of those complete players. Both him and his countryman Mito. Tee to green, check, and then on the greens, they can roll in the birdies. So either one of those guys, I feel confident in taking home a win this week. But I just think it's going to be Joaquin as opposed to Mito.
Yeah, I was very on the fence about taking someone who's low on the odds board, just because of the fact that like I said earlier, so many different people can win. Brendan Todd is in the mix every year here, and you know how he gets so low on the board. Obviously, Kramer Hickok was in a playoff with Harry English, and I'm pretty sure the last 3 unknown winners was Hickok was in the playoff, and Russell Knox were both 100 plus to 1 to win. I have a few guys who I'm going to give out some outrights, like super long shots, but there's just one guy who just stands out, and he didn't play great at the Country Club. He finished 7 over par, but he did things that you kind of thought were just right. He hit it pretty well. He hit it relatively straight for the most part. He was good out of the rough. He actually led the field in strokes gained out of the rough, which is a very impressive stat for how bad the conditions were the whole week. I'm going to go with Jordan Spieth. It seems like when the putter works, he's either finishing second or he's winning the event. He won at the RBC Heritage. He finished second at Pebble Beach to Tom Hoagie. He loves hitting to really small greens, which is prominent at both the Heritage and as well at Pebble Beach. The ball striking has been there. It's simply really off the tee that's been the problem, and his putting hasn't been excellent. It's like him and Colin have both been struggling with the putter. They can't figure it out, but I think Jordan Spieth is a really good play this week, and I'll take him at plus. What's the number that I have here for him? Jordo, 2,400. Honestly, for a guy who's as good as he is at lower level golf courses, at only 6,800 yards, he can easily drive a lot of these greens as well. He's a good driver of the ball, so 2,400 is great odds. Some other guys, John, if you have anybody else on your card, some long shots that you might be interested, I'm going to give a few out here. Kevin Kisner, 100 to 1, very interesting play there. Again, I'm playing Damon at plus 7,000 to win. Aaron Wise plus 4,800. How about Sungjae Im? Everyone was on him last week, missed the cut. I think he comes back in dominant fashion at the Travelers. Sungjae Im, I think he's plus 3,000 right now on most boards. So those are some guys who I'll be betting outright. John, is there anybody else that you're looking at this week?
You mentioned Aaron Wise. I think that's a good one. Mark Leishman has had a lot of success here. Maybe not for an outright, but for a top 20, top 30. I'm probably top 30 might be pushing it a little too low. But somewhere around there. Those are some names. That's all that comes to mind for me this weekend. But it's actually like a decent field for kind of a, I don't know what you would call it, like a hangover week after the U.S. Open. Guys competing, and this is a fun course. We've seen guys tear this course up, so it's going to be an entertaining final couple of days.
It will be a very great week. That's going to do it all for us here. John, 30 seconds. Final thoughts. Do you have anything else to tap in before we go?
I don't think so, dude. I don't think so. I'm just chilling over here. I'm vibing. I'm in a good mood, but I'm always in a good mood. So I don't know, man. That's all I got.
All right. Well, I want to give a little shout out to Sir Nick Faldo. Called his retirement after 16 great years in the booth. The first time Jim Nantz will not have a partner.
Oh, really? God, finally, bro. Get that guy the fuck out of here, bro.
God bless Nick Faldo. I'm very excited for Mike Tirico to take over the broadcast.
Okay, that's actually even worse. Nick Faldo makes Mike Tirico look like, or I don't know, Mike Tirico makes Nick Faldo look like freaking, I don't know, who's one of the better sports announcers out there.
I can't believe what I'm hearing. All right, this is my my FaceTime.
Nick Faldo is one of the worst.
He's been muted. Shout out to Nick Faldo on a great career, 16 years in the booth. God bless you. And that's going to do it all for us here at the Get in the Hole podcast. That's Sean Mavelli. I'm Stephen McAvoy. We'll see you next week. Enjoy the Travelers.